All right, guys. Welcome back to the homestead. If you're wondering what the hell that was me calling my pigs. Today we're going to be really diving deep into the last 2.5 years experience we've had raising Kune Kune pigs. We have had them since they were little piglets. We've bred them. We've had baby Kunekunes. One of the first piglets we've had on the homestead were Kunekunes. And then finally we've been able to have them butchered. We're going to talk about raising them on pasture, our experiment with raising them on pure pasture versus supplemental feeding, and all the pros and cons that come with raising this amazing heritage pig breed. So stick with the channel and we'll show you what we got. They're kind of disappointing me by not coming over here though. All right, let's get going. All right, guys, so you can see in the background here, I've got Kevin Bacon. In case you guys didn't know, the last that he was talked about, he was possibly a member of the Avengers. That's what Thor said.
And in it, a great hero named Kevin Bacon.
He said he wasn't sure. He's been away for a while. But Kevin Bacon was our first Kunekune. And I don't want to bother him too much because it's June 30th. It's the last day of the month, and it's really kind of in the heat of summer. We'd have several days over 90 degrees. So even in the morning time, he's wanting to be over here in the shade. You got to remember, they're a hair pig. They're very warm-blooded already, so any increase in temperature is going to be very difficult for them. That's why it's really important that you give them, one, shade, and two, a spot that you can continually keep wet, and you can call that a waller. All of our pigs have wallers, and if you don't have one, chances are fairly high that they're going to get one. You'll notice two other pigs over here. I'm not going to talk about them much, but I will talk about them at the end with some sad news. I have a Mangalista and a Maishon Baro that are my grow out pigs for butchering. I have them down here with Kevin and Lena, my Kunekunes, because they're pretty well mannered and I don't want them to be too aggressive, even though we are still seeing some aggression between this group. That being said, let's talk about temperament of the Kune Kune pigs. So they are probably the sweetest pigs on the planet. They are very social creatures. All pigs are social creatures. No pig should ever be left alone. But this particular pig is extremely social. They thrive on having the attention of others, and they love the interaction with human beings. I love it when cars come by too. Makes my YouTube channel just so great. But Kevin, he and Lena, his woman over here that's behind it, she is kind of pregnant, so she's not super interested in coming out. They are the only pigs that have like a completely unique personality. All my other pigs just have a pig personality, you know, honk honk, give me food, I'm gonna eat, you're gonna come close, I'm gonna squeal, I'm gonna run away. These two are like, hey buddy, what are you doing? Let's be friends. Hey, can I stick my snout in your crotch? Because that's where I want it to go. They just really love people. They love being around people. Their personalities are amazing. Lena, our tiny girl, we'll show some B-roll of her because she doesn't want to come out of the forested area right now. She rules the roost. She is the smallest pig, but she is in charge of everything, including us. She will, when she comes running, she will push and shove all the other pigs out of the way and just get what she wants and then retreat off to wherever she wants to go. She has her own very unique personality, and we absolutely love her for that. So these pigs, like I said, they're social creatures. You should always have one or two, or you should always have at least two, unless you have other animals, or you're going to basically be that other pig, which I wouldn't recommend keeping these inside, because even though they are one of the smallest pig breeds, they can still get fairly large. So let's get into that right now. Pigs in general can get very big, you know, like some pigs like Mangalitsa's, you know, on some of the big websites that say their total size can be up to 900 pounds, which is insane. Kunekunes, honestly, if you're raising them for meat, you're probably not going to get up to 200 pounds. You might before it's time to process them. I know fully established boars, if you let them go, can probably get up to 400 pounds. But they are a small pig. They are not meant to be a mass production pig. They are a small, slow growing pig as well. So one problem that most pig breeders and people raising them for meat have is they take an incredibly large amount of inputs. Inputs is, you know, feed, water, shelter, time, to get them to a butcher size. I have a little hack for that, but before I get into that, I'm gonna keep going. So these pigs, let me turn the camera so you can see them, because they're a little camera shy. These pigs, although they have very high input requirements if raised traditionally, they have very low input requirements if raising them in a less traditional manner. And what I mean by less traditional manner is these guys can be raised with a huge percentage of their diet being pasture. On Wikipedia itself, it says Kunekunes can be raised in the summertime on 100% grass. I'm running an experiment right now, and I'm going to tell you that's a massive lie and it's a failure. Kunekunes, although you can supplement greatly with grass, weeds, and just natural foraging, they do require some assistance from us. They were a domesticated breed. They don't have free range to run everywhere. They can't find all the nuts and other things. They can't find grain. So we have to support them. So we do give them some commodity feed. But even with that said, we're looking at about 2 years with our pigs. Our female, she's less than 150 pounds. Kevin here, he's probably pushing 200 pounds right now after 2 years. So, you know, a lot of people will say, well, you can grow out a pig in, you know, 3 to 6 months to that size. And I'm gonna say you're absolutely right. So why would raising a Kunekune pig even be an option for you? Main option for that is the lower inputs. If you can have pasture for them to graze on, you can come out either a small amount every day, or like what we do, we have 2 5-gallon buckets for the 4 pigs that are out here filled with commodity feed that we bring out every 3 days. That helps supplement them. It keeps their fat, the amount that we're bringing out, they can graze on that for about a day and a half. So they have a day and a half that they're forced to eat forage, and they have a day and a half where they have as much of the grain that they possibly want. And versus other pigs, that's a very, very low number. That amount of food is almost your daily requirement for regular heritage breeds or crossbred domestic breeds that people use to raise for meat. So that's a huge cost savings, huge cost savings. So if they take 3 times or 2 times longer to get, but they take a third of the inputs, you can do the math and say that's a reasonable option for me. If you're one of those new homesteaders and you just want a pig to raise for meat, and you're going to put them in a 20 by 20 pen, with a shelter, and you're going to feed them all yourself, the input cost is going to be considerably more. It's not going to be a money saver for you. It's actually probably going to be a money loss for you, especially when you consider if you don't like lard, they're a lard pig. So if you want, while I'm rambling, I'm going to show you what these pigs can do to the forage. So you also probably have heard that Kunekunes are very easy on the land, they don't root. I'm going to tell you that's true to a degree. It's definitely better than traditional pigs. They will walk around. As I'm walking around here, you can see they will find areas that they find something in the ground that they like grubs or roots of some kind, and they will use their really inverted snout, which isn't really meant for digging, and they will spend some time digging that up so that they can get more food and minerals that they need. If you supplement their feed with minerals, which I have been told from the beginning to do, it's supposed to make a difference. I've noticed zero difference in that with rooting, so I want to call that a myth. But it really is minimal rooting, and if you understand some soil biology, them rooting, kind of tilling the soil, breaking it up, but not rooting it like a tiller would, and then, pooping on it, the manure will then be added to the biodiversity of the soil. Over time, that soil can be very, very, very rich and healthy. because of that interaction with the pigs. It's like called regenerative agriculture. I know a lot of people do it with cows, but you could definitely do it with pigs as well. So we'll get off this subject. Oh, Lena decided to come out. I don't know if you guys can see her down there. She's our girl. So they have plenty of options. They have berries that they can eat. They have grasses. They have weeds. So there's very little that they can't eat out here. Basically, if they don't want to eat it or it's not good for them, they don't eat it. I haven't had anything come up that's really scary for us, but they do a pretty dang good job of keeping us on our toes out here, making sure that they're not destroying things, because unlike other pigs, the worry about these pigs is almost minimal. Let me show you guys the fencing here in a minute. Okay, our pigs are all on about a half of an acre out here, and we had brush hogged a wire and wire for electric fencing, and as you can see in just a few months how much it's overgrown. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. It still holds a little bit of a charge even at this condition. But yesterday and many days we come out here to feed them and I forget to turn it off, and they go 3 or 4 days without any electric fence and they stay contained. They do stupid things like this. They knock barrels over into the electric fence. Yesterday I walked out and they had knocked their feed system into the electric fence and even had a path to walk off, and they still didn't walk off. So Kunekunes, once they have that fear in them for electric fencing, the sky's the limit on how much you want your electric fence to be. I do recommend having 2 wires. You could probably just have 1, but having 2, make sure that they always see one of those wires, and just the visual of it is all they really need. So really take that in consideration. You look at this giant area over here. All this is theirs, and we can put up small little amounts of wire and they will be able to go through it. I do need to get my son out here to weed eat this sucker so that they are a little more protected. I definitely don't want things getting in here with them. But that's what you need for fencing. I guarantee it, it's the best option with Kunekunes no matter what. We've used cattle panels. If one of the women is, one of the gilts is in season, they will rip down cattle panels just like another big bore would. So I recommend hot wire for everything. This is my man Kevin. He's a tan colored pig, so it's easier to see. And when I had him down earlier, when he was sleeping, it was easier to see, but you can see some of the movement in here. There's one. Now these things are pretty gross and I don't like them, and I don't like that they bother my pigs. So what I've got is some ivermectin and some promethium 10. Ivermectin is what you use to treat for worms, and I'll talk about that a little later on, but promethium 10 is what I use for my my plants, but its main purpose is for livestock and basically tick and insect repellent. So what I'm going to do, I got it in my spray bottle, and I'm just going to give him a gentle bath. Oh, he turned around for me, all nice. And that's honestly all you need to do, and that will last about a month. And that will help your pig recover from, you know, all these nasty pests. I bet you within about 45 minutes there won't be a single insect on him. So that is my main step for controlling the pig ticks and pig mites. Alright guys, so I've talked about fencing, I've talked about food requirements, I've talked about some of the needs for the breed. Really, let's get down to some of the nitty-gritty stuff. So this breed came from New Zealand. In 1980 there was only about 100, or there was only about 50 of them left. Conservation efforts really spurred. The native people in New Zealand named them Kunekune, which being translated means round and fat. If you look at their body composition, they are very different than other pigs, and that name fits them absolutely perfectly. In 1993 they came to the United States, and they've never looked back as far as their growth. This is a Homestead small farm pig dream. If you have one of these pigs, they're easier to manage. Even if you raise them the traditional pig style, they're going to be an easier pig for somebody with a small farm. So people really took off and really started to love these pigs. Their personality must have helped a lot as well, because they have really taken off. If you get on like Craigslist and you look for pigs, you're gonna find Kunekune. Somebody's gonna have one. They're meat. So we've raised these, and we have actually not butchered one of our pigs, but the last 2 months ago, we were able to butcher 2 Kunekunes. One was a Kunekune, one looked like a Kunekune cross, and we were able to get meat from these pigs. They are an extremely high lard pig, which means if you like lard, which most people don't know it, but you should love lard. Lard is awesome. They are a great pig, but your meat output is going to be lower because of it. The meat is a red meat. It is a good quality meat, much better than your traditional heritage breeds. However, the size of the meat is going to be considerably less. Pork chops are going to be small. Ribs are going to be small. Everything that you normally enjoy and the portions you enjoy them are going to be smaller. So just consider that when raising these for meat. If you have small children, or you're like me and you had weight loss surgery and your stomach's smaller, that actually might be a better option for you. So I'll go back to me. I do want to say these pigs have just something really special about them. It's hard to explain. If you get on some of these Kunekune groups, you'll notice people just defend them no matter what. They have flaws. They have flaws. The first pig that we ever got was an Idaho pasture pig pair, and those pigs were really cool pigs. And I thought to myself, well, if their characteristics are good, why not the pig that they came from? Why not check those out? And that's when we got Kevin, and then eventually when we fell in love with him, we got Lena. So this is where we come down to some of the harder parts for me. So due to their low meat output, ultimately time is the problem for us. It's not that we're okay with, you know, the input ratio, that works for us, but the time output, it just takes way too long to raise one of these to a size worth butchering. And I hate butchering a pig that's 150 pounds. To me, I feel like it's a waste of growth. And if you do let them grow out to the full size, then they're gonna be a little bit rougher meat because it's an older pig. So that's a negative for us. The fact that we have other pig breeds that we're working on right now, trying to keep boars separate, absolutely stinks. Kevin, our guy here, he's a prolific breeder now. At first we were wondering if the dang guy was ever gonna get the job done. But once we introduced another boar, man, he's I don't want to say, I almost said Ricky Martin, but that wouldn't work out really well for this analogy now, would it? He's a stud. Let's just go with that. He's a stud, and he gets the job done now. He's impregnated some of our pigs that we didn't want him to impregnate. So having boars of a breed that you're not interested in crossbreeding isn't something that it is one of the reasons why it's a challenge for us here. The other thing is time. You know, we're down here on the lower part of the pasture. These pigs are isolated. My children aren't as helpful as I'd hoped with these pigs. I'm constantly having to remind them to just come give them water, come give them food. So I've kind of taken it over for the most part myself, with occasionally a angry text message, did you check the pigs for water? So time has really become a constraint with where I have these. The cost, you know, everything has a cost. If I'm not eating these pigs, if I'm not breeding these pigs for sale, then they're a cost for me, and that cost, while low compared to big pigs, is still a cost that I need to avoid. So unfortunately, we've decided to let these pigs go. We have somebody coming by today. They're gonna be selling these pigs. We're gonna be selling these pigs. We're pretty much giving them away. I mean, I think I paid $250 for Kevin, and I think I paid $250 for Lena. So I got about $500 into these pigs. I've grown them out. Lena's pregnant, and I'm gonna get them gone for about $200 because I want them to go to a good home. This is hard for us because we've had these pigs since almost the beginning of the Homestead days, and just the fact that we have raised them since little piglets, it's always a difficult thing. I think it'd be easier for me to do this than to butcher them, honestly. And because of the low output in meat, like butchering them for just a small output of meat, I'd rather they just went somewhere else where they can be breeder pigs and have a good rest of their life. They've still got a long life to go. In captivity, these guys can, I think the record, is 19 years right now. So they're like 2.5 years. So they have a long life. They have a long breeding cycle left in them. I think they can breed up to about 8 years. So Kevin might not be able to breed that long. I think the boars, they have a breeding life up to like 6 years. So consider that when buying older pigs. They may not be breeders anymore. They might be proven breeders that can't breed. So you want to get one that actually can get the job done. It's really important that if you're raising pigs that you understand that pigs are really susceptible to diseases. If you go to airports, you'll notice, like, you know, if you came from Africa, we need to disinfect your shoes. Pig disease transfers very easily. All of our pigs up at the top of the homestead, including our piglets, have a cough. We don't know where it came from. These guys don't have it, so something got over there. Somebody from another homestead came by. My sons went to a work somewhere and something got on their shoes. There's a lot of different possible paths that this could have happened, but you can contaminate your pigs very easily. All right, guys, so I've rambled on quite a bit here. Hopefully I've answered all of your questions. Very easy pig. Very easy pig. Love them. Hate to see them go. If I have an opportunity, depending on if I'm home, I'll have some reel of us loading them up and saying goodbye at the end here. If not, this is going to be our goodbye to these amazing, amazing pigs. So subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was a real video, by the way. This is not me just going off of Wikipedia information. Like, this is my personal experience, and I only referenced some of that stuff because it applied to what we were doing. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. So subscribe to the channel, watch my IPP video, and get some information on those. Also have a Mangalitsa video, which hasn't gotten nearly as much attention as it deserves, I think. I think it's a very high quality video giving you good information about those. And then stay tuned, because the breed of choice for us after today is going to be the Meishans. We're going all in on the Meishans. We're going to be doing a very good video on those. Our entire experience with that has just been insanely incredible. And for us, the few negatives that the Kunekune has, the Meishans make up for it, and then some. All the qualities that the Kunekunes have that we love, the Meishans have as well. So that's the path that we've chosen on the homestead. So stick around and see us, and we'll show you that video someday. All right, bye. All right, they're moving Lena. Kevin's already in here. Stay back, Kevin. There you go, little girl. All right, bye, piggies.
Yeah, okay. We gotta walk in. Okay,
They got
walk-in slaughterhouse.
just like that. Our Kune Kune experience is over.